Okay, so I'm Tamar, this is Efrat, and we're here to share with you our dream. Actually, our dream come true, but our dream. We actually created, we create interactive spaces that enable learning and fun. Very much like this museum that we're in now. We met during our MBA many years ago, and we became best friends. We have several things that are similar, and we have differences. We complete each other, and this is one of our strongholds. This is how we are able to create what we create. So going back to 2008, Frat and I were in the business world, really deep in the business world, marketing, sales, strategy, business. VPs in international companies, in leading companies, content companies in Israel, and we were thriving. We were up there with all the new high-tech, with all the high-tech medical device content development, and we also had kids. Now, being up there, getting a lot of yeses wherever you go, doors opening because of both the position and what you speak for, is a very comfortable space, like Joanna mentioned. And that was our starting point. We saw, go ahead.
Go ahead. So we saw that our similarities, beyond being women, of course, and having 3 kids, which is always a motivation, is sharing the same passion for changing the way education and learning is perceived in Israel. So we were sitting down and thinking, what can we do? It became personal, so we acted personally. And then we came to the thought that we should initiate a social venture, which we call Simoura, which is a Children's Museum of Tomorrow Association. It's a social venture that wants to change the way people address learning. And as for today, the educational system in Israel put emphasis on the outcome. We in Simoura, we put emphasis on the process. We really believe that learning through trial and error and self-exploring is the key for better learning. And we believe that if we'll do that, we could gain a better love for education, and we can make culture accessible for all. So let us tell you about our warm welcome to the family industry in Israel. And Tamar will share with you our story about the guru who said no.
So, of course, as we began and told you, we each had kids. We were looking for places to take them. It's raining or it gets very hot in Israel in the summer, and we wanted to take them indoors. The concept of a children's museum, or a space where you can go, you have air conditioning, and you can play with your kids indoors, didn't exactly exist. In the Tel Aviv area, it did not exist at all. So we started, we wrote down our ideas, and we went to our first candidate, the expert in the family entertainment industry, the CEO of the Children's Channel, of course, on TV, to see what he thought. And he says to us, tell me your idea. We're into interactive spaces like I presented to you before. We develop interactive spaces.
We sat with sparkling eyes. We thought that we were very convincing at that point.
Right. And we gave our whole story. We had a great presentation. He looks at us, and we said to him, we specifically mentioned, this space is for children ages 0 from birth to 12, 13. And we're going to bring everyone, and the parents will sit, and it's air-conditioned. And he looks at us, and he says, listen, you're at the beginning, right? We're like, yeah. And he says to us, well, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Children ages 0 to 5, ages 6 to 9, ages 9 to 13 will not play in the same space together. You will not get an 11-year-old willing to play the same game that a 3-year-old plays at. So before you go and you start and you try raising money and you hear everyone around you saying, I'm telling you, I've experienced, it's never going to happen.
I don't want it to be disappointed. This is what he said from his experience. So, okay.
We leave. Frat puts her arm around me. She looks me in the eye. And she says, okay, we have no choice now. I look at her and she's like, this was our challenge. Now we have to do it. Even if we were wishy-washy before, we have to do this. And for the next few years, what we did, we kept our day jobs. Every night, 8 p.m. till midnight, we would sit and we developed games. We developed games, we developed presentations, and we worked and worked and worked because this was our challenge. We were going to climb this mountain.
We had the whole museum planned. It was 55,000 meters square, and we knew exactly what's going to be happening in each room on that museum. We only needed to go and persuade some people in order to get
Funding.
$10 million, something like this, which was like, we think it was like our lack of experience in the field that made us so ambitious and stupid in a way, but it worked. So we sat down and we put up a business plan, like we know from our business world. And we were going to cultural leaders, to museum executives, to business people. Whoever opened the door, we sat next to his table. And we were talking about our thoughts, and we were gathering people to be on our advisory board, be a part of the venture. But most of the people we spoke to didn't understand the concept at all. They were just looking at us and saying, what an interactive space. What's wrong with learning the way we learn today? What's the problem? There's the way, and it works. So we were saying, well, maybe it's a little bit premature to the Israeli market. We don't know how to access it. But as we were thinking, what can we do? What can we do? Because, they close one door, we go through the other door. And we said, we need a beta site. We got to have a beta site, like in the high-tech world. Then we'll have our proof of concept. Okay. So again, we were going and talking, and finally we found the visionary person who was the CEO of the Diaspora Museum at the time. We were talking 3 years ago. And we told him that we have a dream. So he said, you know what? Your dream really
coincides
with my dream. I want to bring young families, young Israeli families into the Diaspora Museum. And we said, wow, we need a house to host it. So we were a perfect match. And that's how we started to build our proof of concept.
So the end of the guru story is they became one of our sponsors. At this first venue, despite the no at the beginning, they came on board. And actually, that's how we developed the first interactive space that deals with the Hebrew language. This is not a science aspect. We deal with everyday life. And so we wanted to bring to life our ideas through these games. Let us tell you a little bit. Well, first, let's pause for a second. And this is actually a sign that we saw in New York.
Yeah.
And it represents the 5 years that we put into this project. Because basically, we had an idea. Thank you, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. We had a dream. And we didn't take no for an answer. We didn't take discouragement. We made it happen. And that, for us, is creativity. You have to have an imagination. You have to take that imagination and bring it to life. And if you don't bring it to life, it stays in your mind. So you have your own personal creativity. But in order to share it with others, you have to bring it to life and let people play with your imagination.
We really believe that this sign was hanged up for us. And this is why we pictured it. So what is creativity for us? Creativity for us is beyond thinking out of the box. It's redefining the box. We don't let the geometry hold us back. We kind of keep on changing our boxes. They could be within any shape in order to fit the cause, which is to create a platform that allows a better experience of learning for all. So we think the opposite way from regular way of thinking. And Tamar will share with you a little bit about our experience, and how do we get to the final point when we go ahead and do something?
Basically, we saw a lack of interactive spaces for children. That was our basic thought. And in order to develop these spaces, we needed to think fast. We needed to think out of the box. And finally, we said, well, there is no box. So we have to redefine this box. The way the children's museum world or cultural institutions think, they think from the product, go to the marketing, customer, then to the experience. And we're like, well, we don't know how to think that way. That's not how we were trained. We were trained business, marketing, sales. We have to see the product and sell it to the customers. We want them to come. And that's how we start building our ideas, basically. We start from the end and work our way back. We develop, first we use gut and intuition. We want to picture in our minds if the project's going to work or not. But after that, we put a method to use. We developed a method. And this method enables us to take any institution and fit it to make it interactive and family-oriented, to have children, adults, grandparents, parents, children with each other, with older siblings, play together, have fun, and learn at the same time.
So we would like to share with you our success formula. Doesn't matter whatever space we have, wherever we get to, we make sure that those three elements work together. If we do combine them in the correct way, we get a new method, a new space that is all built on playgrounds of knowledge. So Tamar said, we're thinking from the end to the beginning. We always address the diverse customer. We always put attention on the space and how it can service our ideas. And we always mix together high-tech and low-tech in order to let everyone comfortable in that space.
Now, how did we affect society? Let's talk tachlis, as they say in Israel. How did we affect society? Well, we found that in the 5 years that we were running around from institution to institution, from museum to museum, from commercial companies to others, suddenly there's a talk. Everyone's now, when we have commercials or promotions about places, everyone's like, there's a new family experience. This is the new family experience. We hear the word family experience and it warms our heart because now we know a family experience means we can bring our children and go to different locations. So institutions have started thinking differently. They offer programs that are meant for a wide range of children. We're now able to go to places where they didn't think of offering it to us, and we wouldn't think of taking our children to there because they would be bored. So we see more institutions working that way. We see schools. We wanted to get into the educational system and try to make a tiny change of how the educational system works. And now we notice that teachers are using different tools. They're inspired by the various interactive spaces, and they're using these tools in the classroom. For us, that's a very big compliment, and we want to see this project grow and grow and grow further and further. So thank you very much, and we hope you had fun.